Your best big at the end of last season has chosen to go to your rival, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Ven-Allen Lubin, former North Carolina Tar Heel, has committed to NC State. He himself shared a post on this. He shared NC State's post. He shared Tipton Edit's post, and I saw some North Carolina players in the comments in response to this. So Ven-Allen Luke can obviously be a good piece for teams. If you need him to be like a star center or star big, it's obviously not going to work out. I don't know what Will Wade is hoping to get out of him, but at minimum, this is a chance for Ven-Allen Lubin to get one more fresh start before his college basketball career ends. What is your reaction to Ven-Allen choosing your rival as his next destination?
Ah, man, Greg, do you want the good about Ven-Allen Lubin? Do you want the bad of Ven-Allen Lubin? Do you want the pettiness from me from a fan perspective? Where do you want me to start?
Start where you think the main broad summary of Ven-Allen Lubin should start.
Okay, I think he is a good role-playing big who can score at the hoop. He's physical, he's a good rebounder considering his lack of size, but that's about it. And I do have to get ahead of this because I know there might be NC State fans calling me a homer or whatever, like, or oh, you're just so upset that he left. Like, I'm not really upset. I think that that sounds like a meme. I'm not mad. I'm actually laughing. But I think when you look at UNC bringing in Henry Vasar, it's clear that Luben was going to be playing probably tops 15 minutes a game to where I get him leaving. And I would just say, like, he was really good down the stretch for Carolina. It was against really bad teams, and he was the best big on the worst UNC front court I have seen in my fandom. Like, it doesn't feel like when you say best big last year, there's a caveat. There's a reason why people were ripping on UNC's front court literally since this time last year, you know? And I don't know. The petty side of me that comes out where it's like, oh, okay, last year was like it's the human resources slash oh you're so sweet where it's like oh Hubert Davis lands 6'8" center oh human resources, but when Will Wade does it it's oh you're so sweet NC State's a top 25 team. Like I think Luben can be helpful in the sense that he is going to play really hard. He's a good lob threat. I think if Trey Holloman is who Trey Holloman thinks he is and is going to be this floor general, he should be able to feed Luben on a ton of lobs. Like that's what Elliot Cadeau did down the stretch of the season, and like Luben thrived in that. I think it's there's something to be said that he put up 20 and 10 against Duke in the ACC tournament without Cooper Flag and Malik Brown, but 20 and 10 against Duke in the ACC tournament as well. Like he is a productive player, but I don't know how I feel about the fit on the NC State roster. And again, I know people might come at me with my fandom or whatever. This is truly like taking my fandom glasses off. To me, it feels like a weird fit next to Darian Williams, who's an undersized four. And I know Williams is like a good team defender and everything. But even knowing how like Will Wade wants to like pressure teams and trap ball handlers and stuff, like you would think you'd want a bigger shot blocker on the back end of that. And that's not really what Lubin's game is defensively.
I don't even think people are going to come at you on this. I think everyone has mostly accepted this. It's totally fair for you to frame it the way you framed it. He was the face of the worst front court at the high major level last year. Let's just call it what it is. Carolina had talent everywhere at the guard and wing spots, and they had arguably the worst front court rotation that any high major team had. I went through this with Michigan State, my rival program for a couple of years. They had a bunch of great players. Tyson Walker was awesome, and they had bad teams because they had no answer at center. Now, last year, some of those centers developed and got better, which NC State's now going to hope Ven-Allen Lubin does. And having a star in Jace Richardson that actually mapped to the college game instead of just kind of gave you some empty calorie scoring also helped Michigan State a lot.
Mhm.
This isn't about Carolina, even though Ven-Allen is coming from Carolina. This is about what he's going to be at NC State. And I think the questions with him are the same as they are with Trey Holloman and pretty much every single ad Will Wade made this offseason. Okay, you have all these puzzle pieces. None of them are like shiny standalone pieces you would put on your mantle by themselves. But will you be able to put a puzzle together? I don't know. Like Darion Williams is the centerpiece of it all. And if you're going to try and sell me on Darion Williams and Ven-Allen Lubin as a front court together, I think that's going to go horribly. Like you need somebody bigger if you're going to play Darion Williams at the four. And I like they have a couple options, I guess, that I think theoretically should be coming off the bench. And Jerry Dang from Florida State and the kid from overseas. What's his name?
Paul and Baya.
Yeah, like maybe one of those pops, and then this
Hmm.
works. But I guess if I'm an NC State fan, like in theory, Ven-Allen Lubin starting center is not something that's making me believe this season's going to go all that well, even if I like him as a piece.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. And to back that, like I got a couple stats from Will Wade's last few teams that I think illustrate that like the Luben fit is a little weird to me. So this past year's McNeese team, defensively, they're 14th in the country in turnover rate, 53rd in the country in block rate. Really, really good. The year before, sixth in the country in turnover rate, 38th in the country in block rate. His last year, LSU in 2022, third in the country in turnover rate, 13th in block rate. Like that has been his MO of his best teams is they turn teams over in bunches. And when you look at players like Trey Holloman, Terrence Arsenault, Quadir Copeland, that's what they're gonna do. They slot into that role really nicely. But having that safety net on the back end of shot blockers, like I don't really know. I don't have Williams' block numbers in front of me, but I just like him being a 6'6'4". I think again, like he's solid in team concepts, but I don't know if he's gonna have like the highlight reel blocks. And after watching Luben for a full season, every once in a while, like every couple games, he would have a really nice block where like he might even be in ISO defense and slides his feet, takes away the shot at the rim. But for the most part, his lack of size, and I would even say his lack of I would like his defensive positioning is not great. Like a lot of times he's out of position and doesn't always look like he's the most in sync with his teammates. Maybe you say that's a Hubert Davis issue. Maybe you say it's a Ven-Allen Lubin issue. Maybe it's some of both. But I just have so many questions about if he's your primary option, like on the back end. Now, maybe it's a 2020 split with him and Paul and Mbaya, and maybe Mbaya explodes and it doesn't matter because that is Mbaya's strengths. But yeah, that to me is like the biggest question mark. Like, is this tenable defensively? And on the offensive end, like, is Trey Holloman going to emerge as this like more pure point guard or pure lead guard who's going to be able to get him involved and get him a ton of easy looks at the basket?
Yeah. Yeah, all fair questions. So I want you to transport yourself mentally, close your eyes even if you need to. North Carolina plays NC State. Ven-Allen Lubin is starting at the five for NC State. Henry Vasar is starting at the five for North Carolina. What is Ven-Allen Lubin's stat line and what is the score of the game? This video is brought to you by NBA2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well, and they're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game, and I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Great question. If that happens, I'm like, can we have Roy Williams be a guest coach of this game because he will force post touches to Henry Vasar, and Henry Vasar will end the game with like 30 and 20. Because I don't. Well, actually, no, that's a little unfair to Luben. Luben held his own against some bigger bigs. Like he played really well against Hunter Dickinson in the first game against Kansas. But I don't know. I would still envision Luben could probably get you like 12 and 6. He's been like a 12 and 6 guy his past 2 years. That's kind of what he is at this point. To where I would set the over at 12 points and the over on rebounds at 5.5.
Okay, so a solid, respectable line from Ven-Allen against his former team,
Mm-hmm.
and North Carolina wins by how much?
10.
Okay, all totally fathomable outcomes from you. Now, again, please close your eyes if you'd like. Transport yourself to the post game. Uh, I'm going to tweak your answer. Let's say Ven-Allen Lubin is horrible. He has like 2 points on 11 shots. North Carolina wins by 45. Are you now feeling bad for Ven-Allen Lubin? Are you in like victory lab, haha, you loser mode? What is your reaction?
I will never, ever, 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 ever feel bad for NC State in any athletics. So no, I'm not feeling bad for him. I don't have bitterness toward him. I would just kind of be like, dang, dude, you really went to like, what were you thinking? I think Carolina's 40-7 against NC State in their past 47 matchups. You could probably, it's probably not much better if you go back all the way to 50. That's just the stat I have off the top of my head. Like there is something to be said about the history here, and I'm very high on the Will Wade hire in general. Like I think that's the best. I think that's the best coach that State could have hired. And I think he will be good for NC State however long he's there. But I like this Carolina roster. I like that history plays into UNC's favor. And I don't know. One of the guys you were talking about who commented on the post was Seth Trimble, who got in Dontrez Styles' face in the game this past year. And I just hope we get a moment like that in this one, G. I needed to get a little chippy.
All right, just to cover our bases, Ven-Allen Lubin hits a corner three to win the game, which he doesn't even shoot threes. He just, let's
Mhm.
say that's the final play. He does something he's never done before, beats North Carolina. After the game, gets saucy on social media with like some sort of post like, haha, you thought? What is your reaction to that?
I'm probably texting you and Card on the side, complaining endlessly about Hubert Davis.
Like, where would Van-Allen Lubin rank if somehow he beats Carolina and has a great performance? Where would he rank on your all-time hated list? Is there a world where he ends up near the top or no?
I just don't think so, man. It's
Yeah.
like it's just kind of different. And this is not me being like, oh, NC State's not a rival. Like NC State is a rival, and like I said, I will never cheer for their athletics. I don't mind them as much as in basketball as I do in football. Like football, I can make a long list of guys who I hate who played football at NC State. Um, but yeah, they're just I can't even remember like maybe like Terquavion Smith balled out against UNC, but I had to respect him, and he's like a local North Carolina kid. So there was only like so much hate I could have for Baby T. Aside from that, like NC State just like, if this let's say like UNC continues its downward trajectory and it's bad for the next 5 years, and Will Wade elevates NC State to a perennial top 25 team, then yeah, like I will certainly hate some of its players. I didn't like DJ Burns. I got really freaking annoyed watching DJ Burns. So that's probably like the because yeah, he was great against Carolina. Really his last 2 years there, and so that's like the one player who I'm like, man, I couldn't stand how this dude would just like beat up on my team. But yeah, so that's it's tough to see how Luben could accomplish that in 1 year, especially because they only play one time this year. It's crazy. We only play in Raleigh.
He just doesn't seem hateable either. I mean, like,
No.
there's no like Dickinson-esque personality
Yeah.
side of this. It's just like, yeah, whatever. He's a nice kid. Okay.
Yeah, he is like he's very mild mannered off the court. Like talking to him in post game press conferences, he's just not like it just comes across as like a nice kid. And honestly, maybe that's part of like you probably wanted him to be a little more fiery and talk a little bit of that talk on the court. But yeah, so that's where I don't even see it happening. Like it would seem so out of character for him to.
Conspiracy G glasses on.
Yes, let me hear it.
I wouldn't let Will Wade get too close here because there is a Carolina to NC State pipeline building. I mean, you mentioned Dontrez Styles, Van Allen
Hmm.
Lubin, Willie Wade tried to get Ian Jackson. Where's Willie Wade going to stop here? I don't know that he is the point. Like in the past, say what you want about Kevin Keats. There's a reason he's not coaching anymore. Final
Hmm.
four participant Kevin Keats. Kevin Keats also, I think, as far as I know, just like a totally fine guy. Whatever. You don't have to worry about Kevin Keats. He's over there. He's
Yeah.
Kevin Keats. Will Wade is like, oh shit, Will Wade's gonna be there? And now Will Wade is like 2 miles from you and already trying to get 25% of your roster, and he's been here for a month, right? Like,
It's
what
actually a really good
about
point.
Willie Wade from next year coaching your best player, you know?
He's already in Luka Bogovats's DMs.
Well, and then the thing is, like, I'm listening to you react to this, like, it's almost like North Carolina fans are just being like too nonchalant about this. It's just kind of
We
like,
don't
yeah,
know any different,
whatever.
G. Like UNC has dominated NC State for my entire lifetime, pretty much.
Yeah, but
Like
if he had gotten Ian Jackson, you feel the same?
I would be, no, I would feel different. Yeah, I would
And
be like,
that's on the
Ian.
table here. The more guys that come over, the more this becomes socially acceptable. You know?
Yeah, I think that honestly, it should be like you and like the UNC admin, the athletics department, they're the ones who need to be on high alert. That's like if this becomes a trend, nip it in the bud and
Yeah.
figure out your solution. Yeah.
And like the same way that Lane Kiffin has just become the guy who like sits in his office and is like, I want to fuck with someone today. I think that's Will Wade too. And like respectfully, Hubert Davis is probably the dream archetype for a rival coach that you think you could F with if you're like
Yeah.
a cunning, devious guy. So I'm just saying, if I were a Carolina fan, I wouldn't have any fingerprints on this because I wouldn't know how to do it. But like, be careful. Like if we're coming on pods, be like, yeah, whatever. He can, cute. No, like let's draw the line. This shit's not okay because next year you're gonna want my point guard, and Kyan Evans is mine. You know?
It stops being cute really quick, G. It does make sense. That's it's a good point. It was kind of cute when it's like, okay, Dontrez Styles, he hit the shot against Baylor to put Carolina into the Sweet 16 his freshman year, then kind of fizzled out, had a cup of coffee at Georgetown. It was like, post-hype sleeper ad, didn't really do anything at NC State. Now it's like you got Carolina starting big last year, even though it was you said it, the worst front court in the high major ranks. Yeah, if this time next year it's like Kyan Evans is in the portal and he's checking out Raleigh and he's on Glendale Avenue like chilling with Will Wade, then yeah, that's when it probably stops getting sweet.
Let's just put Will Wade in his place. That's, I think, what North Carolina needs to do. And if you're an NC State fan, you're just like, yeah, we took your guy, even though the guy's not all that good. So I'm fascinated by the whole thing. We'll see what happens. Congrats to Ven-Allen Lubin. Congrats to NC State fans.